Hi, my name is Keith Moses, and today we're going to be making an ocarina. An ocarina is kind of a whistle form, flute form, and this particular one was thrown on the wheel and carved, but we're going to make the same way, same shape by hand building. In fact, we'll alter it into something pretty special. But just in case you don't know yet what this is, okay. So we have 3 pieces of clay to make this shape, and basically this is the bowl, this is the base, and this piece right here is the mouth part. We're going to need popsicle sticks. We have popsicle sticks that have been cut at nice beveled 45s, but they don't have to be. You can just snip them with scissors. Pencil, you don't have to have a scraper, but we have one, and a drill bit. And so really you can do this with a pin tool even, and popsicle sticks, and that's about all you would need. Okay, so first thing, these balls, we'll take this one, roll it up, get it nice and smooth, and we're just going to make it into a pinch pot. And I'm rotating it in my fingers and trying to keep the wall thickness nice and uniform. Particularly with this one, you can carve it. And so there's the wall thickness. This is a little bit thicker on that edge, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But the thickness on this is probably about like that, a little bit about like that pencil overall. So there's that. Here's the bottom. And again, I just pinched that round, but you can pinch it into almost any shape. I'm working on canvas here. Wood has the same effect, maybe a little bit more texture imparted, but this is so I can wick away the moisture. And this is clay that you would hand build with or wheel work with. It's straight out of the bag. So to get that to stick, I'm going to go ahead and do this, tamping it so it's level, looking at the inside shape more than the outside shape. I put just a little bit of water. Now here's a little bit about scoring and slipping. A lot of people think you got to scratch and attach. The idea behind scoring and slipping is if you're taking hard pieces and trying to create a bond, you need to increase the amount of surface contact, or if you're taking something softer and adding it to harder, you'll scratch the harder piece of clay. But if you have 2 light pieces of clay and not much of a worry about the threshold of it cracking, you can go right to it. And these are pretty soft, and they're going to create a good bond. So I'm sealing that on, tap it a little bit, and now I'm going to blend it. And so what we're doing is we're essentially trapping air in here. And after we've done that, we can do all kinds of shaping to this. In fact, all these little bumps here can disappear just by rolling it around like that. Start working those away. And even on the edge, get that to start disappearing. And in doing so, we're strengthening this. We're compressing the clay together. We're making it stronger overall. And while I do this, I'm maintaining that as being flat. The bottom of this whistle, it's important to keep it flat. Here's a little diagram of the igloo shape that we're making. So we have wall thickness, and we have a little spout, our stem, added to it. Okay, we're going to take this and insert it in there, and it needs to go right against this plate. So there's our popsicle stick going in, and then we're going to take this one and we're going to insert it right up against this wall. And so that stick will come in right here, and that's where that sawed off edge, obviously you don't want the rounded edge, and then we're going to bend it back at a 45. So it's going to create an opening right here, and it's this edge and that little shaft that we create, narrow channel about 2 millimeters by about 10, the width of the popsicle stick, that hits this little divide, and that is where we get our sound. So clean this up. And now we'll take this piece, roll it into our mouthpiece shape, And again, if you're going to make this into an animal or some sort of form like that, you can incorporate this as a head, a tail, a foot, a beak, all kinds of stuff. So I'm tapping it level across the bottom, and then I'm going to just kind of articulate it a little bit to fit that curve by running it across my finger. A little bit of water, working that seal, and I want to squeeze the air out of it, so I'm kind of wiggling it. Again, air is trapped in here, so I can go ahead and blend this. And you really don't even need water for this. If the clay is this wet, water just kind of makes a mess. Cross blend it the other way. And so there's the basic shape of that. We're going to take this and I'll just have a little fun with it. Maybe pinch a little head on there, and we'll turn it into some kind of animal. While we're at it. So, good time to do this is now, while the air is trapped in there before we poke any holes in it. And so, get that all done. Here's some ears. And you don't have to do this. This is silly. But it's kind of fun. Soften that area up. Put those guys in. Looking a little piggy. Maybe a fox. Get the backside sealed in. Okay, my recommendation is to let this sit for maybe a half hour, or you can blow dry it, and that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to hit it with a blow dryer for about a minute. So we just hit this with the blow dryer for about 60 seconds, and we're ready to go ahead and put the mouthpiece, put the air into it. It would be the windpipe or for it. So the reason we do that is just so it has a little bit of a skin to hold it so it doesn't want to collapse after we open up the airspace. So I'm going to take this, and again I'm coming in right at the thickness of the clay, and so getting this set up and going parallel to the floor thickness, and I'm pushing it in, and so it's resting flat on the base of that. Flip it over, and here's the top of my original orb, or this dome that I made, and I'm going to go in the thickness of the clay. So this one was pretty thick. It's a good 1/3 of an inch. The one we just made is a little less thick. So I go down about the thickness of it, 1/4 inch, press against that other popsicle stick, kind of compress it, and we open up about a 3mm hole, and then we're going to go ahead and angle it back at a 45. Start to finish, if you didn't blow dry, you could definitely do this as a class project in about 20 minutes. With blow drying, these are almost 5-minute ocarinas. Pretty fun and easy to make. And there's that angle. Hope you can see that. Clean it up. Now here's the problem that most people have, is when they take this out, they don't clean up the airspace. And so we're going to pull it out, and we're going to come back and clean up the airspace. So just pressing that down, you can see down in there nicely. And we'll push that in another time. So a little bit of debris there. Keep that up. So again, this is a lot easier if it does sit. It's less sticky. If it naturally dries for a half hour or so versus force drying it with the hair dryer. So I want to make sure this doesn't waver as it goes in. Nice clean opening. I can emphasize this by coming back with a scalpel, X-Acto knife, or a fenneling knife and just kind of sharpen that edge, but it is somewhat functional just the way it is. And I want to look and see if I can see this part interrupting the airway just a small amount. And it works. So, all right, adding features to this. This guy was just carved with trim tools when it was leather hard, and left that. But before it got to leather hard, we went ahead and put in these air holes. The deeper the sound, the more air you can let out of it. The higher pitch the sound, the closer you are to that cusp. And so we're pretty close. I think we could probably get away with about 3 holes on here, but I'm going to change that up a little bit and see if I can increase the range by sharpening that and narrowing the exit. So I pushed a little clay down in it. Okay, so drill bit, and I'm just going to go with the back end since this is so soft. Pencil makes a nice beveled end. We're not going all the way down, we're just giving it a little more of a seat for our finger.